Two things that's really important before we start this story. Number one, I'm team respect women, protect that smile. I am not a woman beater, and this is really an accident in its fullest. When I was a kid, even at that. So I want you to understand that this is just not who I am. Number two, excuse me. When I was a kid, I remember when my dad grabbed my mom by her throat for something I don't really remember as the context really, because I was a kid. And this was soon after I got done watching the trilogy of Star Wars with my mom. So I thought my mom was going to die because remembering what Darth Vader did to people with the Force choke, I thought my mom was going to in return die from that as well too, because I'm an impressionable kid. Like, I literally almost choked on a jawbreaker because of Ed and Nettie. So I want you to understand how impressionable I was. Like, I thought my mom was going to die. My dad let my mom go, and they didn't really call the cops or anything, but I never forgot that. Because of that, I don't know. I never thought to ever hit a girl, or anybody for that matter, because of the fear that you can then put on somebody else that cares about that person. Just to say if I was about it and I fucked the dude up. You get what I'm trying to say? Now, the actual story itself takes place in my childhood, middle school childhood to be more exact, when I was pretty stupid and played football for the sake of winning and nothing else. Now, to give proper context in this story, in middle school with girls specifically, I dated girls, use it really loosely, just to kind of hold their hand in school. For some reason, I thought that was just dope. Like, just holding their hand and talking to a friend with their set hand, excuse me, in hold. That doesn't sound right. You know, that was all it was for me. Like, I just liked the look. Now, I found out very soon that I was a hopeless romantic at a young age because every single girl that I dated, I thought I was in love with. You know, it really messed up my mind when it didn't work out after like 2 weeks because I was hurt for a day. But that one day that I was hurt for was really bad. It was hard for me. Now, fast forwarding, there was this girl named V. I really liked V. She was just like beautiful to me. I don't know really what it was. It wasn't really her face. She didn't have a booty or a boobie, you know what I'm saying? I didn't even care about that back then, but it was something about her that I just loved, you know? Now, I don't know how V was with the patch notes with dating people, but she dated as many people as I did. So when I would see that she was single and I was single, like I was going for it, bro. Now, upon V being beautiful to me as a kid, she was also the first person to curve me ever. How she curved me too was like the lying way, like to lie and say you're not really interested, to not really hurt your feelings, if that makes sense. That's how I remember it anyways. Like, she would tell me certain things like I'm not interested, or I look at you just as a friend, or like I would date you, but X, Y, and Z. There was one time in specific that we were at a dance, or we were supposed to go to a dance together because I told her I would take her with like some cute shit after that, and she was like, bet, let's do it. And I'm like, yeah, but I lied and I had no means to go to that dance. Needless to say, my one opening to get with her just flopped entirely because of me not being honest or prepared. So I hung out with her group a lot, and there was like a lot of girls deep within there because I did like try to get at her a lot, and we were kind of close friends. I was always around her trying to kind of like build something for dating. I don't remember my mindset entirely. That was 5th grade, because in 6th grade, this is when it all went down. Now, I don't know about you guys, but me specifically, every year when I come back in school, I strive to be a different person and to get into different things because I don't like staying complacent with what I do no matter what or where I am. So in 5th grade, I was a ladies man. In 6th grade, I was a sports man. I was into football, basketball. I hung out with a lot more guys and girls. I try to keep my friend circle a little bit more diverse than before it was all girls. Another thing that inspired this too, because I hung out with so many girls in 5th grade, somebody did ask me if I was gay, and back in those times, being gay was not acceptable. So when someone said that to me then, I got really offended because like, don't fucking say that to me. So I wanted my image in these streets essentially to be pretty cool and well received amongst all my peers. So I decided to kind of mix up my friend group because of that as well too. Now, with playing football, I got into a lot of problems. Like, I don't know what it really was. It just made me a lot more aggressive than normal. If you played football before, you would understand that when you play and when you win, you get this level of satisfaction and accomplishment that just hypes you up, and you just tend to scream and do a lot of shit because of the win, because of tackling somebody. So at lunch, what we started to do was play flag football. Flag football meaning we would have the flag on, and when a proctor's looking, we pull the flag, but when they're not looking, we get the tackle. Now, for the rules that we had, if you tackle somebody, if you were brave enough to do it, you move a yard up. If you don't so happen to move farther enough for it to be like first down again, you feel me? Like, if you get the tackle, no matter what, we're moving up. Fast forwarding a little bit towards the middle of that school year, and I was really popular within my little team we had on football. We would pick the same teams every time, so that way nobody got left out. Like, if you were a new student trying to get into our team, it would be very hard because our shit was locked down like Illuminati, dog. Like, you couldn't just get into our game to play. Now, I was essentially the wide receiver because at the time I was the fastest and the best at catching the ball at a far distance. Because of that, a lot of people were always on me because I would always make game-winning touchdowns, you feel me? So it was the last play before lunch ended. They told me to go far. I went far, dog. Whoever the quarterback was told me to go far. I was gone. Like, I ran. They couldn't catch me. I was open. I'm just like, bitch, get me. My dude saw me. I saw him. He threw the ball. It was in the air, spiraling like, I'm like, shit, bet. It's my time. It's my time. I catch the ball. Bitch, I'm running. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't fucking catch me, bitch. Gone. gone. Here I see V walking. Now with how I'm seeing V come into frame, there is a slim chance that I could like curve past her to like, you know, avoid her and get the touchdown. Like the touchdown is right past her. I can't stop now. Like someone's right behind me. I have to keep on going. So for some reason, V decided to jump in front of where she was walking and I couldn't turn as fast as she jumped. I hit her so hard, bro. I felt like scissors cutting through paper because I'm a pretty big person compared to her. I'm pretty sure she flipped. I didn't know what happened to her. I just knew when I got the touchdown, I turned around, looking immediately behind me, not below me. I saw everybody's face. Even like one of the buff dudes who was buff, I guess in middle school terms. Like, I looked at the two friends V was with and they were like, I thought when I looked down, I was gonna see a dead body, bro. But I mean, it was close. She wasn't bleeding as far as I remember, but she was crying. From what my friends told me, she flipped in the air a little bit. And you know, the first thing I thought to myself was, damn. She got up after her friends said they hated me. What's wrong with me? Everybody kind of attacked me, rightfully so. And I was speechless. Like, I mean, I was confused whether or not we count the touchdown or not. And I'm not even joking with you. Like, I was really confused about that. I was confused from getting expelled. I was confused if they hated me. Like, there were so many things going through my head and I just didn't know what to do besides look confused as I was. I felt so bad about it to the point where I walked out of class once I went back after lunch and turned myself into the office thinking that she was like really hurt and I was ready for any consequence because I felt like a bad person, bro. Like while I was walking to the office, I was crying because I thought she broke something. Like I'm thinking the worst at this point. I can't remember if the principal was a girl or a guy because I went to many schools, but I do remember that they were saying like it wasn't that big of a deal. She didn't even say I did it. Like even though that happened, she didn't even snitch on me, bro. Like that's crazy to me. The next day happened. I was pretty depressed. So depressed that you know how in middle school people gossip. I'm sure that it got to her that I was depressed about what happened because people were also talking about the fact that I literally hit her and I got treated differently because of it. So she came up to me and she said, I forgive you. And you know, like thinking back as a kid, I was so quick to be like, yo, thank you, and went on with my life and be happy again. But like to do that at such a young age, like that really means a lot. Like it means a lot to me more so now than it would back then. And if V, you ever watch this video, you remember what I look like, you know who, I'm sure you remember me. I really do want to say thank you for just being so awesome as a kid, as I'm sure you're awesome now. Well, I mean, the actual true ending to this story is not as nice. If we fast forward a lot, like going to high school, junior year specifically, this was middle school and I went to a lot of different schools, Michigan included, in between that gap. So when I actually came back to California where I'm at now, I went to the high school that I would have went to if I stayed at that middle school where they're all at. Now, B, I said her name by accident, is still cool with me as far as I could tell. Her friends didn't like me except for one of them that I was cool with, that I hung out with amongst the clique. So I only, out of like the pack, only had two that I could salvage, I could still be friends with coming back to that high school. Now, me and that girl, the other girl that's not V, who I will name shortly, I thought we were close. You know, like we talked a lot in our computer class last period. And we talked a lot about a lot. And we shared a lot of shit that we shouldn't have, I guess, gossiping, which it was a bad habit that I did in high school that I stopped now with, was just gossiping about shit that I should not be talking about, breaking all types of trust with homies without them knowing about shit that I should have kept to myself. You know, I had to get past it. It took me a lot of learning experiences from, you know, what happened with this. So there was a rumor that V had sex with my boy that I was told in private that I shouldn't have shared with anybody. And nobody really knew that except for me because it was shared on a really, really discreet basis. So I trusted homegirl that I talked to thinking that we still were tight since middle school and that she would keep, you know, our shit like this. I told her it was a mistake because she didn't know what to do with that information. Like she went around telling V specifically amongst that whole pack, like, I know some shit you don't know. Oh my gosh, I heard something about you, girl. You did some shit. Ooh, you said you were a virgin. Here comes V coming up to me aggressive. I'm just like, hey, because she walked up to me while crossing periods like, did you tell people that I had sex with Sky, whatever? No. Well, girl said you said that about me, and I can't believe that. So how about you stay the fuck away from me and keep my name out your fucking mouth? She walked away. Confused I was. Like, V, come back. I didn't mean what you heard, but it happened, but I don't know if it's true. But I feel like me and you shouldn't be beefing because of this. That was the last conversation, if you want to call it that V and I actually had. It hurt because I don't think nobody likes being called out, especially when you're walking trying to have a good day. Let me know down below if you had any situations or stories that you were feeling lucky and you want to share with hitting anybody. If it so happens to be a girl, please make sure that is accidental. If it is purposeful, I'm not going to judge you a lot. Maybe, it depends on how you do it, but I'm leaving now. Call me Reverse Tyrone Magnus because I like doing this thing. So I walked away and you think I left, but I didn't, and I'm about to stop the video in like 5 seconds.